how to be happy when life is hard. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to take responsibility for your happiness and for your life, and then some great shifts that you can make. But first, before we get into the shifts, it's very important for you to understand that you are responsible for your situation. And this can be incredibly disheartening or incredibly empowering to realize that it is your fault for the reality that you live. But with that being said, that means you can change it. And that's the best part about it. For me to accept this, and guys, I promise you, I'm just speaking from experience with these videos, because for me, it was disheartening at first for me to accept responsibility. I was like, how could this be my fault? How could my situation, my reality be my fault? I have all these external things happening to me, but that was my victim mindset. And that was the mindset I had when I was about 17 years old. And going from victim to victor mindset has been the single biggest shift and the most empowering mindset shift I have ever had in my life. So again, accepting the responsibility for your situation can be difficult to do, but I promise you, when you do, your life will change because you realize that you are in complete 100% control of the outcomes within your life. Of course, there's things in your life that will happen that are out of your control. But the reality that you live in, about 99% of it, I would argue, is your fault. And it's time to actually make that shift from victim to victor. And for me, the biggest mindset shift for me was when I was in the hospital. At 17 years old, I went to the hospital for an inpatient for some pretty serious suicidal ideation. But the thing is that it showed me and empowered me to understand that number one, my purpose on this earth is to help people shift their mindset from victim to victor. And I'm not saying in the hospital that's how it was, but for me, I realized in the hospital from my experience that I was dealt two aces. And with those two aces, I have the power to help others. I have the power to ensure that others don't have to end up in that same environment that I did. And I realized there that I was being a victim. And so it was so empowering for me to be there and to understand that. And so it's to understand that when you are a victim, you don't make the most out of your life. And when you're a victim, you're always trying to chase the short-term happiness. At least that's what I found in my experience. So what I had to do is I had to shift from chasing the short-term state happiness to shifting to what can I do to make the most out of my life. And when I made that shift, I started to get better outcomes in my life. I started to make more money. I started to feel better. And yes, I start feeling sad, mad, angry, stressed, and I accepted those feelings, and then overall in my whole life I tended to feel better. The problem is that people try to chase happiness in that feeling of joy. That's how I like to think of happiness, is joy. They try to chase this constant joy. But to be always joyful, you would never understand the other side of it, which then takes away the greatness of how the joy feels. And also, you are human, so it's completely normal to feel sad, mad, happy, all of those things. That's gonna be the first thing. Shifting from victim to victor, and then also shifting your mindset from chasing this short-term happiness to changing this trait happiness where you feel all these other emotions and how to make the most out of your life. And I also want you to own your own choices. And this is part of just taking responsibility. The life that you are living today is the result of about the last 2 years of choices you have made. If you are overweight, if you do not have money, if your relationships are poor, if your resources, your time management is shit, it's your fault. And it's a result of the last 2 years of the choices that you have made leading up to this point. How you react to things, the habits you have, the relationships you allow in your life, what you tolerate is your reality. And that's what I've truly found, is what I tolerate is my reality. If I tolerate me eating 10 cheeseburgers a day, well, I'm probably gonna add 100 pounds pretty quickly. But if I only tolerate eating 20% of unhealthy food and 80% great food, I'm probably bound to be in good shape. So ask yourself the question, what are you tolerating in your life that you no longer want to? And some good areas to really look are your relationships, your habits, and how you react to things. So looking at those things will help you own your choices, to own your reality, to allow you to be happy when life is hard. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Chris. I'm a coach here at Life on Your Terms, And in these videos, I know I can get passionate and really emotional, but the thing is that I care so much about passing my lessons and my experiences on to you guys, so you guys don't have to face the same things I did. I want to prevent people ending up in the hospital. I want to prevent people and allow people to live a life on your terms. So the thing is this is just my experience, and you might not agree with it, and that's totally okay. I'm just trying to share what I know so it's helpful. With that being said, it's time to dive into shifts that you can make. The shifts that you can make, and the first and most helpful one, at least in my opinion, is habits. And the cool thing about habits is the best place to start, I think, is gratitude. What's one thing you can be grateful for every day? I like to think about that every day. And for me, sometimes it's simply that I'm healthy, like that I have all my legs and arms, that I can see, that I can smell, all those good things. That's something that I'm grateful for a lot and very often. So what's one thing you can be grateful for today? Exercise is another thing that'll help with your take responsibility, because with exercise, you'll start to see like, okay, there's a direct correlation to the actions I take and what I eat into my weight. And so it makes you invest effort into yourself. So exercise is a really great habit. On top of that, sleep. Sleep is another thing it just makes you feel better. Honestly, like when I get a good 8 hours, 9 hours of sleep, I feel amazing. And so sleep's another thing you really focus on. And then one final thing and habit you can incorporate today is helping others. Who in your life do you think that you could lend a hand to? And you know what? I bet it would make their day if you texted someone close to you, say, hey, you know, I got some time today. Do you need help with anything? People are gonna be like, what the fuck? They reached out and said, do I need help with anything? Like, no one does that, and it'll make someone feel very special, and you'll be able to make a difference within their life. So habits is the first thing. The second thing is to set goals. And I would encourage you to set goals around professional, relationships, resources, and health. And with those, there's 3 subcategories you can set within each of those. And if you want to know those subcategories, you take the balance wheel description below, and you can set goals around them. And the best ways to make sure you achieve those goals and start to take responsibility for your reality is to use the 4 It's of goal setting. Those being, say it out loud, write it down, put a date on it, and send it or share it with someone. When you use those 4 It's, you'll be much more likely to accomplish your goals. And you also want to make sure these goals are aligned with your one thing. What's kind of your purpose or your mission in your life? What's your direction? We don't want goals that send us in a million different directions. We want something that's streamlined. So maybe think about, what does amazing look like for you in those 4 areas, and then you could set goals in line with that. One final thing you can make with another just kind of actionable shift that you can make is the environment. Who do you allow into your environment? What do you allow into your environment? And where is your environment? Everybody's heard the saying that you are the average of the 5 closest people you spend the most time with. So who do you allow? What do you allow in your environment? Is it a lot of video games? Is it a lot of TV? Or is it focused? And where? Where are you at? Because putting yourself in certain situations can hinder or increase your likelihood of success. If I lived right across the street from a really good fast food place, I'm gonna be really a lot more likely to eat like not good food. But if I were to put myself in an environment away from that stuff and closer to healthy food, I'm much more likely to eat healthy food. So what is in your environment, and where's your environment at? Now it's time to explore the mental shifts that you can make to be happy and help with your happiness when life is hard. And the first thing that you want to do is shift from happiness to making the most out of your life. I already talked about this a little bit, but really focusing on going from state happiness, or what you think of as joy, that short-term happiness, maybe someone gives you good news, something like that, that's that short-term joy or happiness. You don't want to chase that. You want to chase trait happiness, which is just overall satisfaction with your life in general, which does mean that you feel sad, you feel mad, you feel stressed. And the way you can make that shift is going from I want to feel happy to I want to make the most out of my life. That's how it's gone for me. When I'm focused on making the most out of my life, I get that trait happiness. Another mental shift you can make is reframing. Reframe from what you are facing today that'll actually just make your story better. That's what I like to do. So for me, when I was in that hospital, I was like, this is just a test. This is just something that's gonna make my story that much better. And I truly believe it has. I think it was actually one of the best things that happened to me. It was so empowering for me to be there, for me to experience that and talk to and get all these good experiences from everybody different from me. It was enlightening. It was awesome. So reframing what you are feeling or what you are going through into a positive and how you see those events can be very helpful. Also reframing from, like I said, some things are out of your control in life. So asking yourself the question, what can you control? For me, I used to really deal with bad flying anxiety, and I just had to ask myself, what can I control in this situation? I can't fly the plane, so I can only control my mindset, and that's what I did, and it's helped me kind of get over that anxiety. So ask yourself what you can control can really be a helpful reframing strategy. And one final thing with a mental shift you can make is to understand that shitty things will happen. Bad things will happen, but you can control your attitude, you can control your effort, and you can control your reactions. Those are the 3 things that you can control in every situation, and that can help you when your life is hard. Attitude, effort, reactions, and also focus on not dwelling on the bad things in your life. So that's how to be happy when life is hard. If you like this video, guys, please comment. Comments tell me what you guys like about this video and if I should make more of them. So if you guys will leave a comment what you like most about this video, it's really helpful for me, and I'll continue to make more of these videos.